What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of a Cincy Fan Talking. Appreciate y'all checking out another episode. Appreciate y'all stopping by. Feel like we in another horrible rerun of a messed up cycle. It's just horrible to be back in something that it's just been like decades old, man. It really is. It's just horrible to be back in this mode. Rest in peace to George Floyd. Rest in peace to Breonna Taylor. It's just so many to name. Some people you might know, some people you might not. Some of the names might not be familiar to you. Some might ring out. I had these notes here, to just go ahead and talk about, but I'm not even really gonna use them. I was having this conversation, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just kind of talk about that conversation, and then just kind of go from there. So I was having this conversation with somebody before, and it just kind of came up. It was like how it was weird because this conversation happened a while ago. Like it was one of my white friends, and we we're just real open, talking about race and stuff like that. And he's always been honest. He's always saying stuff like, white people's messing up America and stuff like that. I kind of laugh, but he's kind of dead serious about it. And I just kind of laugh at him. And he said something, and it took me forward to a conversation I had with my wife the other night. And he asked me a question. He was like, when did you come to the conclusion that America was kind of messed up? And it was a weird question, and I didn't have an answer. Like I really didn't have an answer for him. So fast forward to the other night, my wife and I were watching CNN, and we're just watching the protesters, and it hit me. We're talking about it. I had the answer to that question. April 29th, 1992. That's when I knew that America really didn't care for black people. That's when I had my answer. I was 13 years old. It was the Rodney King verdict. I was sitting in my room with my brother when we saw the verdict. My brother's a year younger than me, and we pretty much grew up on Ice Cube and the Ghetto Boys and all those rap groups. Kind of political back then. And we all saw the footage, and we were all under the impression that these four cops are going to jail. We're kind of naive at the time. We've heard of police beating up on us and stuff like that, but we've never seen the footage, not like that. So we're like, okay, we got the footage. They're going away for a while, and to see them get off like that with incriminating evidence, from that moment forward, a switch just kind of like clicked in my brain. At that young age, it was just like, wow, like my country really doesn't care about black life. And of course, I'm 13 years old. Those words really didn't click in my head like that. But as I got older, I started realizing that day was kind of like the genesis of what I thought about how America felt about me. Now, notice I say America. I'm not really saying individuals. I'm saying America as a society as a whole. Like from that day forward, that's really how I felt. I didn't vote until I was 25 years old. Like it took me 7 years to realize that my vote counted. Like I just didn't care. Like I really felt like it didn't matter. I was like, what's the point? Like it took my wife to convince me like, look, your vote matters because I just didn't feel like it. I mean, that was like the influence America had on me. I was like, as a black man, like, look, what's the point? And I'm just being brutally honest. Like, and I feel like every time I see something like this happen, it just kind of opens up that wound again. Like, little by little, male or female. That's what it does for me. And if you ask any black man, rich, poor, I mean, any station of life, you'll kind of get something like that because it really doesn't matter your station in life. I mean, you had LeBron James have the N word sprayed right on his house. I mean, it's not anything that you get away from. I mean, I feel like America has a way of kind of like trying to pull you back. And it's really a messed up thing when you see something like this. Like, it's absolutely positively horrible that we're in the same place that we were when I was 13 years old and I'm 41 now. Like, it's absolutely horrible. Like, it's it's kind of hard. It's hard to have hope sometimes. I'll say that it's hard, and especially when you try to do a peaceful protest like Colin Kaepernick did, when you're simply trying to kneel and people question your motives on that. And then when you're protesting outside, you're holding up signs and everything, people are like, how come it's not peaceful? And it's it's like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. And you're to the point where you're not really expecting much from America as a whole. It's like I feel like I'm watching the Cosby Show, and it's like I know what's about to happen. It's like I swear, it's like I'm watching the episode where Theo is putting on the shirt with the one long sleeve and the one short sleeve, and he's walking out and he's putting on that shirt, and I know exactly what line he's about to say. I feel like I'm watching that episode, and I feel like I know what's about to happen, but I'm watching anyway because I want it to be something different. Like, I want this to be different so bad. Like, I want George Floyd's killer because he killed him. He's a murderer, point blank. Like, there's no getting out of this. The people that were with him, killers. There's no getting out of that. Like, they enabled him. I want them to get arrested, and I want them to go to court. I want them to be guilty. I want them to have their day in court, and I want them to be guilty. But I feel like I've seen this before. Like, we're here in Cincinnati. We saw this happen in 2001 with Timothy Thomas. We saw this happen with Sam DuBose. It's like we're looking at the same thing, and I'm very afraid that it's going to happen again. And I don't want it to, and I want to have hope. But it's like we keep getting dealt the same hand. And it's like I just don't know what to do at this point. And what I appreciate is that we're not the ones out there marching on our own. We're not the ones out there doing the picketing. It's not just black people. You can see like a completely different hue of people out there on the field with us. I mean, I look on my timeline, like just on my Twitter time feed, and I see like all sorts of different people like commenting, supporting, and like I completely appreciate it. Like it's wonderful to see because I can tell you this, like when we were going through this before, there was all types of like hatred on the timeline. And even now there's a couple of like ridiculous comments. I've had to unfollow some people. Some people have unfollowed me. And of course I don't really have a lot of followers, so I mean I can definitely tell when I'm getting unfollowed. So of course. But I mean there's some stuff out there. But there have been like some great people of all colors supporting, you know, saying they're donating, sending out retweets to go here, to go there, and just posting stuff that's supporting. And it's stuff that you really appreciate seeing on your timeline. It's just nice to see. Like, and it gives you that little bit of hope that you didn't have 4 years ago or 5 years ago because it wasn't really there. But my question is, what happens next? That would be my main question. What happens from this moment? Because, and I hate to be this person, but I've always been an honest person. What happens when we're in this moment again? Because we're in America, and history shows that we might be in this moment again. So, what do we do to A, not be in this moment again, or B, do our absolute best to hold the people that do this to justice? Like, what are we doing after the protest? That's my main question. That would be my question I will ask the protesters. Because I can tell you this, the people that don't want to see a protest, they'll let you protest all day long. They'll let you protest for 15 days because they're under the impression that you can't protest forever. And when you're done protesting, they're expecting you to go home and argue about whatever and completely forget about what happened. That's what people are waiting for. So what happens next? I have two suggestions. One, go vote. And that's coming from somebody that didn't vote for a very long time. I've definitely grasped how important the vote is. This is a very important voting year, and not just for the presidency. It's not even because of that. There are a lot of Senate seats out there that need to be voted on. The entire Senate picture can flip easily. There are a lot of down ballot voting things that need to be voted on. So if there's somebody that's in your town, if you have a prosecutor that's locking up people and they really shouldn't be, get that person out of there. Definitely vote. That would be the first thing I would say. And number two, and this is something that's near and dear to my heart as a teacher, look into mentoring. These babies out here, they need direction. And the stuff that we're doing right now, it might not benefit us, but it's going to benefit the people in the future. So what we need to do is we need to be out here. We need to be mentoring these kids that's out here in the streets. We need to be positive male and female role models to the people that are out here now. These kids that are 9, 10, 11 years old, they need figures. Positive male and female figures. I'm telling you, as a teacher, that's what they need. So those would be the two things that I would say that need to come from this. Google the United Way website. Google Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Those are the two main ways to find mentoring programs. They can always use mentors, especially male mentors. They can always find female mentors. Male mentors, they need you guys to step up. Those would be the two main things I would say. But overall, I would say hope wise, I'm I'm guarded. I would say I'm guarded only because we've seen this so many times. so many times. It's so hard to be optimistic as a black man. It really is. But I will say, just from seeing the images on television, just from seeing so many different ethnicities on the television, as opposed to just seeing so many black people for years and years and years, it is heartening. I will say that. So be safe. Wear a mask in these protests. The pandemic is still out there. So be safe. Wear a mask. And it's it's tough out here. It really is. It's rough. Rest in peace to Mr. Floyd. Um, it's hard to see it right now. It really is. But like I always say before we head out, life is good. It's just a Cincy fan talking. Check you guys out next week. Peace out.